Defense? Never heard of them.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
So for those of you who probably did not watch the game or probably didn't watch it to the end, the Dolphins lost 23-42. Wow. I mean, at halftime it was 10-14. We were in this game. Houston got the ball, I believe that first or their second drive or so. They had a 4th and goal. And they got a touchdown and another. It's just a mess. The Miami Dolphins are now 4-4. This is not where they want to be. This is where I don't want them to be. This is where nobody who's a fan or anything of the Dolphins, this is not where they want them to be. They're at 500. It could be worse. But what do they do? What can they do, honestly? So instead of going over the stats first, I want to just talk about the game, my thoughts about it. They did not stick to their plan offensively at all, and it's mostly due to the defense allowing Houston to score. But mainly, we were running the ball really effectively in the first half. I mean, it looked like this was going to be a close game, and that's what I thought it was until halfway through the third quarter, when it just started going bonkers. Offensively in the second half, we had too many negative or no yardage plays. That's bad, because when you're not producing yardage, when you're not getting the first downs, it's going to hurt your team. But they were put in tough positions, making Brock Osweiler have to make plays, and yeah, he's decent, but that's not what he's going to give you every single time. I mean, if you're in a close game, he'll give you those plays, but if we're getting blown out like that, obviously a defense is going to just sit back and play whatever. The defense looked decent in the first half. I mean, limiting them to 2 touchdowns and having Hopkins pretty much be neutralized by Xavier Howard. I think he only had like 2 catches before halftime. So that was decent, but the second half, just everything went downhill. Bobby McCain was getting burnt by freaking Will Fuller. Yeah, you thought the focus was going to be Hopkins. Nope. But then also, there was one play, I mean the long touchdown that Fuller got, that TJ McDonald dropped down to pick up, I believe it was Hopkins, but then Hopkins went into where Rashad Jones was at. I mean, that was such a horrible play. If TJ McDonald doesn't come down, or Fuller doesn't get that big game, Miami's probably still in the game if that happens, because he wouldn't have scored an immediate touchdown, but there was no safety help. I mean, Rashad Jones tried, but what can you do? Not only that, but the defense could not stop the run. They couldn't. Lamar Miller ran all over us, just like Kerryon Johnson did last week. So, come on, defense. You can't be doing that. You cannot. It's quite sad that the defense carried us through those first 3 games of the season, and mainly that Cincinnati game, because the offense, let's be honest, the offense lost that game. Bad luck on those two touchdowns that Cincinnati's defense got off Ryan Tannehill. That was just bad luck. He didn't intend the ball to bounce off Smythe's head and land perfectly in some guy's hand, and he didn't intend to freaking get fumbled when he was trying to throw the ball down the field. It just happens, but unfortunately that's how the game played out, and that's how Miami Dolphins lost that game too. So enough of that. I'm going to get into some stats. I'm going to start off with Houston first, because they dominated us, so I have to give them some respect by mentioning what they did first. Let's start with Houston's quarterback, Deshaun Watson. He went 16 for 20. Only 4 incompletions. 4. It's less than what I have fingers on my hand, alright? He threw for 239 yards and 5 touchdowns. No interceptions, 0 sacks. I mean, gosh. Coming into this game, I'm pretty sure he was one of the most sacked quarterback of the year so far, right? 26 sacks out of him. I mean, our defensive line should have blown up their offensive line. I don't understand what happened there. What happened? Come on. Next, we have former Dolphin Lamar Miller, who carried the ball 18 times, and he had 133 yards and a touchdown. Again, no run stop. No run stop. How are we letting this happen? Their leading receiver was Will Fuller. He had 5 receptions and 124 yards. I think 1 touchdown. He was blowing by Bobby McCain. Blowing by him like if it was his freaking job, which it is his job. DeAndre Hopkins caught like a little bit of fire towards the second half. He had 6 receptions for 82 yards and 2 touchdowns, both coming in the second half. Houston had 2 sacks on the game. First one came from J.J. Watt, of course. Who else? And then Tyrann Mathieu came in like a freaking missile and just laid out Brock Osweiler. I mean, destroyed him. That was a big hit. Houston's Justin Reed had 1 interception, and that really bothered me. It looked like it could have been a flag on the play. It should have been a flag on the play, but whatever. I mean, not much we can do about it now, especially losing 42-23. But Houston had 3 defensive injuries. It was like Jonathan Joseph, Jackson, which is another secondary player, and one of their linebackers got hurt. And 2 of those injuries happened really early in the game, and Miami did not capitalize on that at all. Yes, I get it. They were running the ball effectively in the first half, but with that happening, with their secondary being weakened, we did not test them at all. We did not put them on edge, and it cost us big time. Now let's go over Miami's stats. Brock Osweiler went 21 for 37. The ball was in his hand a lot because the defense blew the game, quite honestly. But he threw for 241 or 291. I probably wrote this wrong. I'm not sure. He threw 1 interception, no touchdowns, and he got sacked twice, like I mentioned earlier. Our other leading quarterback, or passer per se, was Danny Amendola. He had it was a screen pass to Danny Amendola, and that's a great play because Miami runs so many screens that they were so sold on it. And then we had Kenyon Drake because wheel out and then head for the end zone, and I felt like the ball was in the air forever, for so long. It was very frightening, but Kenyon Drake ended up catching it, getting a touchdown. It brought us within close of reach of Houston, but at the end of the day, it did not matter. Kenyon Drake and Frank Gore ran the ball both 12 times, and Drake led it with 58 yards and 1 touchdown, and Frank Gore had 53 yards, so it wasn't that huge of a difference between the two. They both were being quite effective, but we shied away from the running game in the second half just because our offense was put on the field with such a huge lead against them that they had to throw the ball, unfortunately. Devontae Parker ended up leading the team with receptions. He had 6 receptions for 134 yards. And he had a lucky reception because Jakeem Grant was wide open. He got the ball, and then the Houston's defense just popped him. And then luckily the ball bounced off of one of Houston's face masks and landed perfectly in Parker's hands. And he was just like, okay, this is a gift, I guess. Also, we had Danny Amendola with 5 receptions for 43 yards, so it wasn't that great. No defensive stats to go over because they play like shit. Complete shit. Simple as that. I feel like there was only one good thing that came out of this game, and that was Devontae Parker playing how he did. With all the rumors and possible trades that could happen with him, because with that type of outing, teams see him and they're like, oh, I want Parker. Give him. get something out of him. Possibly make a move for some secondary help if it is true that Arizona's looking to trade Patrick Peterson. I say we trade Parker, use that, and possibly trade Bobby. I mean, I don't know. Just, man, he got burnt. He got freaking burnt. So bad. The only good thing that came out of this game was Devontae Parker having the game that he had. And it just really increased his trade value. And I really think, well, if Miami wants to compete, they keep Parker because he's a good receiver. It's not like he's bad and he shouldn't be on the team. It's just his contract is going to end this year. He's going to be owed a lot of money if we pick him up for his 5th-year option. So get something out of it while you can. Probably get a trade with whatever team is willing to take Parker, and possibly try to make a push for Patrick Peterson if he's available, even though, you know, he said that he's an Arizona Cardinal and this and that for life, whatever. Make a push for that. I mean, Detroit just got a beast of a defensive tackle in Harrison. I don't know his name, but they call him Snacks. He's nasty. I have him on freaking Madden, and he's freaking nasty, alright? For a 5th-round pick. And he's one of the top defensive linemen in the game right now. What is Miami not doing to help out their team like this? Like, I don't understand why we are in contention, and now we're not. Down the season we could possibly be. We always find some type of way to be in the hunt, but what do we need to do? I currently do not know, and it's very frustrating. Miami has an upcoming home game 2 Sundays from now, November 4th, against the New York Jets. We beat them week 2. We took advantage of a rookie, Sam Darnold. Does it happen again when we face him now? I'm not too sure. Pretty sure their team has, you know, gotten just a little bit better. But currently, we're behind the Patriots right now by 2 games, probably, because Patriots are 5-2 or whatever, and they're gonna play the Bills, which most likely they're gonna win the game because the Bills have looked horrendous this season. Hopefully the Bills win. That'll help out a lot. But also, I hope the Jets lose this week because then they could be tied with us. I think they're 3-4. So all of that makes this upcoming game against the Jets a must-win game. That's if we want to stay in contention, because without that, Miami's not going anywhere. If we lose to the Jets, we're not going anywhere. That's how I feel, at least. We're halfway through the season so far. Miami's 4-4. Can they do anything with this? Yeah. Just gotta win games. If they don't, if they start trending, I mean, if they lose 2 more games without getting any wins, or they go 2-2 in their next 4 games, I don't see Miami making the playoffs, because it's gonna be hard to fight in the AFC East. Not only that, just the AFC East alone, just with the wild card, because the Chargers are doing well, the Ravens are doing well, the Bengals are doing well, Pittsburgh is probably gonna start doing well, so the playoff picture for the AFC is looking really tough. Alright, but the season could be way worse. I mean, the Dolphins could have lost a lot of the games that they won, but we're sitting at 500, so it's not so bad. Throughout the game, I saw on Twitter a lot of people tweeting #FireBurke or whatever. Do I think he should be fired? No. It's not his fault that his defense is not doing what they need to do. I mean, they made so many plays early in the season. You knew what they could produce. And then we have just horrible outing after horrible outing. It's not good. It's not a good look. If we have a really bad game against the Jets, then I could possibly see him getting fired if we just start getting smacked by the Jets. But I don't see it happening. at least till the season's over. So for now, Matt Burke is gonna stay as our defensive coordinator. That's what I think. So that's about it. I wrote my first article for Fin Fanatics. I was talking about how the Dolphins could win this game. They executed none of what I said besides Parker balling. That's literally the only thing they effectively did. And the run game was decent in the first half. Carried over just a little bit in the second half, but did not produce what they needed to do. So let me know what you guys think. Also follow me on Twitter. I try to be as informative as possible and talk about the Dolphins in a high regard, as much as they've been doing bad lately. But I'm very optimistic about the team, and I think they'll do well. So yeah, just follow me there. Follow me on Instagram. I always keep you informed on Instagram about when I'm gonna be posting and when my videos are up or when my articles are up. So definitely check those out. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Give the video a thumbs up. And we need to get this win next week, for sure.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.